Hey there, folks. Welcome to another Civilization 6 video. We're doing a Nubia versus Gall overpoweredness comparison. And at about turn 70 or so, Nubia had taken one city and one settler, and Gall had taken two cities. So we've actually wrapped up Nubia's place. Let's see how they did. And it was pretty well, to be honest with you, pretty dominant. So let's take a look after we had taken the initial first city from Korea. And again, the map settings are Wetlands Map, Deity Difficulty, Secret Societies, Heroes and Legends, and Monopolies and Corporations on. And if you want to try out this map seed, it is map seed number 45 on Wetlands. Everything else is set to the default settings that you get when you load up said map. Actually, I misspoke there on the summary. We did close out on turn 70 exactly, and Nubia had taken a second city from Korea on top of the settler that they stole. So Nubia has, I think, five total cities, but they did conquer two cities already by turn 70. Now, due to Nubia's unique unit being an archer replacement, Nubia is heavily range biased here in the early game, and given that, they were doing a little less damage to districts, but were able to retain almost the entire sieging force that they used to take the first two cities, and are able to move on very quickly after taking the first city on turn 70. By turn 77-ish, there are already taking the third city. Nubia still has most of their forces intact at this point, and it only takes another 5 turns at this point. On turn 82, Nubia eliminates Korea 5 turns before the classical era even starts. So taking control over a pretty large landmass there by taking Korea out. So conveniently enough for Nubia, Hojo has denounced Nubia already, and they are at war with the city-state which Nubia is suzerain of. And Nubia is far enough along the culture civics track to have access to protectorate war. So we're able to immediately start a zero grievance war, although it doesn't look like we're going to be maintaining relationships much anyway. Nubia doesn't have time to F around with the crappy little city of Shizuoka over there, and they are going straight towards the heart of the Japanese Empire there. And just a mere 10 turns later, they are already sacking their first Japanese city and en route to take the two largest Japanese cities there of Kyoto and Nagano. So maybe we're going to have like some Olympics or something. I don't know. Nubia is not at all fucking around. A mere 9 turns later, Kyoto is now down. So they have now taken out cities on turn, I believe, 70, 77, 84, 97, and 106. So they are moving on at a pretty good clip here, and going into the early classical era, the Petiti archers still just absolutely wrecking. So by turn 110, Nubia has moved on from the petite archer to mostly crossbowmen, trebuchets, and man-at-arms. Japan has out samurai now, but still no match for the overwhelming numbers of the Nubian force, and Nagano getting wrecked on turn 110. For you perceptive folks, you might have noticed on the scoreboard zoom-ins that England was already at war with us. Don't know when they declared war, but at any rate, that's convenient because England is the next civilization in the way. So Birmingham going down in a mere 5 turns later from the last Japanese city that we took, and the walls really made little difference because the trebuchets absolutely demolished those walls that were at most classical era walls. So sad face Hercules there, the glorified builder, stands there while Birmingham gets sacked. So yeah, don't go build a district or something, Hercules, and leave the fighting to the Nubians here. And he's also nowhere to be found when we take Stoke upon Trent, which is taken in just another 5 turns from when we took the Birmingham outer city. Unfortunately, Nubia does hit a little bit of a delay, even bypassing Leeds and Liverpool and allowing them to fall into anarchy. It's roughly turn 138 as we are closing in on freeing Woolland from the impressive Alexander who had captured that city-state. So Nubia needs to take Pella, which is the capital of Macedon. So turn 146, 8 turns later, they are taking Chaldiki, which is in the way. So they just simply need to capture that city to move on to Pella. You might notice here that Pella has an absolutely massive fucking population of 20. So Chaldiki actually flips into the free city status within just 5 turns, but we've almost got Pella down at that point, which would leave only one remaining capital, which belongs to Jayavarman of the Khmer, which is unfortunately on a different continent, so we'll have to move across the sea to get there. So by turn 166, we are taking the first Khmer city, which is located conveniently right next to its capital. It's on the western bank of their continent. We had actually landed some incursion forces on the eastern bank, which were unsuccessful in penetrating through those Khmer defenses, but we do have Beowulf, some bombards, and line infantry at this point. And by turn 172, Anchor Tom goes down, and Nubia scores a domination victory pretty easily, just marching the same invasion force that originally consisted of Patati archers through strip along their continent, taking down Korea first, then Japan, then Macedon, and then having to do a little pincher move on the other continent to take out the Anchor Tom capital for Khmer. So easy win. So let's see if Gall can match that 172 turn victory by Nubia here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Tune in for the next video, which should be Gall.